kind of the adrenaline builds my confidence, I would say. And in the heat of the game, I feel like the emotion takes me away. In a good way, I feel like I don't think it's a bad way. So in those moments, you see the fiery side. I would say that's kind of, I guess, yeah, the emotions coming out of me in the game.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, along with my good buddy Daniel Kooser. Dan, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, buddy. Death, taxes, and an SKC loss. Here we are. Life is good, man, and we're back in your ear holes. I mean, it's good to love doing this with you. It's I'm going crazy here at home. It's I'm a little bored, my friend. I'm trying to tell my wife. She's like, I don't want to abandon you, and I'm like, I can't, in good faith, tell you you have to stay in this house with me.
Right.
Like, go live your life, little dove.
Go fly. Don't wait for me.
Fly away. And I just sit here and I cry, and my eyelids get a little more narrow every day. It's wild, man.
Yeah, I can empathize a little bit. It's obviously not the same because I'm not going through any sort of like surgical recovery that you are. But yeah, with my dog going through her surgical recovery, I haven't really been able to go out and about much at all. So I'm going a little stir crazy as well. And I look to my TV shows and my sports games as my escape. And
well, don't do that.
Great competitive losses for Sporting Kansas City is not a great escape right now. So
no, definitely not. Shows are good though. I've been I've been doing a little bit of a South Park rewatch, and that is a hell of a time.
Yeah, I'm in. Obviously I'm watching White Lotus. That's on right now. Love White Lotus.
That?
Oh yeah,
a really good season.
Love this season. Just watched the first episode of the last season of The Righteous Gemstones.
That just started. Yep, that was a pretty good episode. Bradley Cooper, almost unrecognizable.
That didn't know he was going to be in it, so that was interesting.
Did you clock him right at the beginning? Because I was like, that guy. I said he kind of looks like Bradley Cooper, and I had to look it up.
Yeah, no. The second I saw him, I was like, "That's Bradley Cooper." And then, which we will talk about this briefly with our special guest that we'll talk about here in a second later. But I just finished season 1 of Paradise on Hulu.
Okay, that's right. We got a Barty party today, folks.
We got a Barty party. Jacob Bartlett, the midfielder, joins us today for a fantastic interview. You got to know him a little bit better and understand sort of what his first experience with the Sporting KC senior team has been like. So look forward to you all hearing that interview in a little bit.
I sound old when I'm like, a very nice young man.
I mean, honestly, I was sitting here, I was preparing for the interview a little bit yesterday, and I was like, he's 19 years old. And I was like, holy shit. I think Lionel Messi's literally been playing professional soccer longer than Jacob Bartlett's been alive. Because obviously we talked to him about starting his first game against Lionel Messi. I looked it up, and yeah, sure enough, he's 19. So he's born in what, 2006, 2005 or something like that.
Oof.
And yeah, Messi's first professional game was 03, 04, something like that. So what's wild to me, and I'm sure you're the same, is, I still think of, time as if it's like the early 2000s, because when it's like, I was born in 1989, so it's like, that doesn't seem like it's that long ago. And now I'm realizing people born post 9/11 are able to drink, like they were not alive for that to happen. And like, it's 2025 this year, that means someone born in 2004 can have an alcoholic beverage. And
I graduated high school. Isn't that something?
Yeah, so it's just interesting to see how old we are getting.
Hey man, you got to judge your age by how your bones feel, and if that's the case, I'm about 805. So,
for sure.
Hey, you relax.
My dog just dropped her ball, and she's mad at me, so I might grab it for here.
Grab the ball, dude.
I'm gonna grab the ball. Hold on, you're hearing?
Scheming Christmas.
Off my.
Folks, Jacob Bartlett is here today, though, and he says a bunch of stuff that. A lot of stock answers that I think he was maybe trained to say, like for soccer reasons, but we really opened him up a little bit and got to have a little fun. So that'll be coming up here about midway.
It was a good time. Really, really enjoyed talking to him, and it was a bright spot in this episode where we didn't have a whole lot of other bright spots to talk about. So that was a good time. But yeah,
can we just say let's not text each other after a very cool goal. in a game, because that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win, because that's not going to happen. We were so excited. Hey, look at that goal. And our buddy Chip texted me about it too. And I was like,
really?
what are we doing, folks? We're setting ourselves up for disappointment.
Let's, we might as well, jump in. Okay, thank you. My dog gets all excitable. Why don't we go ahead and let's actually take our first break a little earlier, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about this DC United game. So we'll be right back.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your number one source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story. Like Bryan Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Bryan Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner impossible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And we are back. Buddy, watched a couple creepy movies over the weekend. I know you're not a creepy movie guy. Correct? You're not really a creepy movie guy?
I don't love it. I like suspense thrillers.
So I love them. I really do. Watch the Long Legs. Have you heard of Long Legs?
I've heard of this. Heard it's creepy.
I think the creepiest part about it is probably Nicolas Cage. You're just like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, this is crazy. Second movie, though, and my goodness, Heretic from A24.
A24 is great. So
that's not really horror. I would say that's in the suspense thriller area.
Okay.
A little biblical horror, if you will, which is always pretty creepy, especially if you are like a God-fearing individual or grew up that way.
Grew up in the church, so
I know you did. This is the two gals that knock on this dude's door. They're Mormon girls. So there's a lot of faith-based conversations, which I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing here. You're trying to do this elevated, smart horror with me. Don't you try to fool me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll have to check those out. I'm interested.
Heretics on Max. Absolutely.
Heretic. Okay. Sounds good. Let's talk about this DC game as much as I don't really want to here for a bit. Starting lineup, nothing too crazy here. Mostly what we expect. I think the biggest blow to this team that we found out the day before the game is that Andrew Brody, the new outside back, will be out for multiple weeks, and Kyrie Shelton is still recovering from an injury. So that means that Jake Davis is still forced to be sitting back there in that right back spot, where it's very clear that we need him in the midfield. I think the midfield has been Manu Garcia has shown a lot of promise in the attack, but I don't know, man. Radia in that holding midfielder spot's just not doing it for me, and I really want Jake Davis back in that midfield. And other than that, Shoppy continuing to start over Daniel Shallowy, which is interesting. I don't know if that has become sort of apparently the go-to first choice, or if he's trying to send a message to Daniel, or what's going on there. But it seems like this is Shoppy's spot to lose on that right wing. So
I think Daniel's just got to put in some work, man. It's got to be something in training. Like, you're seeing Shoppy get in really good positions. You're seeing him make really stupid fouls in the box. You're seeing him careen a shot off the post, which was like, oh man, that would have been a game changer. I do want to say my fun meter was at an all-time high after this Jacob Bartlett interview, and even talking with you, like, fun meter. And then you were like, let's talk about the DC game, and my fun meter depleted. So, like, screw you.
Well, you know what? It's fair, because I'm going to be honest. This game was not overly fun to watch. It was kind of funny because so before the first Sporting Kansas City goal, DC was like kind of bombarding SKC a bit.
They were coming, bro.
They were definitely coming. And it seemed like it was only a matter of time until they scored. And I think I even like put out a post on Blue Sky. I was like, man, SKC's weathering this storm, but this they're lucky that it's scoreless right now, 0-0 draw. This game's not going to be scoreless for long, thinking that DC is about to be the ones to score. And then, like, moments later, Eric Tommy's goal sort of comes out of nowhere, really. It's 7 minutes into the the second half. There's a good switch from Tommy out to the right side where Shoppy is, and then just some beautiful little passing. He finds Jake Davis. Jake Davis cuts back. Eric Tommy's there. We've seen passing sequences like this at times. They've just missed the final ball. And this was the first time that they actually converted. It was the first goal from the run of play that Sporting Kansas City scored. And I was like, okay, there might be something here. And I got excited. I started making a meme. You know that meme where it's like the old man who's like, oh, call an ambulance. And he turns around, he's got a gun. He's like, but not for me. I was like, I started making that with DC's logo and Sporting's logo because I was going to make fun of myself for saying this game isn't going to be scoreless for long. Before I finished making the meme, they scored, and it ruined my entire joke.
Before you finished making it, I will say it's pretty cool that that whole play began and ended with Eric Tommy. Like, he bookended this whole thing, and Jake Davis with an assist that he gave many times last year. Like, I remember he set up Alan Polito for a shot that similar, and it's you can see that the quality's here. I know it's only been 3 games. Yeah, the quality's there in the attack. I will say we gave up. Jesus Christ, we gave up another header, and that guy. That little guy just sneaks right into like a diamond of defenders. There was like 4 of them, bam, bam, and like no one helped out. Like, I think it was Eric Tommy who was on him.
He didn't run,
and he should have been like, "Hey, pick him up" or something like that. And everyone just kind of goes, "Huh?" And it's just too late. Like, how did you let that guy get on the end of that?
It did suck because so Tommy scores his goal, and then 7 minutes later, Christian Benteke scores from the spot because, like you said, Shoppy Suleimanov gets a little overexcited, commits a foul in the box, and it was the right call. And Benteke is Christian Benteke. I mean, he's a premier goal scorer. He's been doing it in the Premier League, and now he's doing it in MLS. And as much as Pulskamp has his moments, he's not Tim Melia when it comes to penalty kicks, and so. Benteke scored, and this made this game 1-1. And then it was not 8 minutes later, like you said, it was Kojima. Eric Tommy, he's kind of looking at Kojima. He kind of shoulder checking him. And then I honestly don't know what happens. Kojima runs right in front of Eric Tommy off of this set piece. Tommy's probably 4 yards behind him, doesn't move, doesn't give Jansen Miller or Joaquin Fernandez any sort of like, hey, pick him up, and he's just wide open, point blank for a header. And you can see Joaquin Fernandez kind of throws his hands in frustration, and Jansen Miller turns around and he's like, "Whoa, what the heck?" Like, they kind of both look to Eric Tommy and they're like, "What just happened?" So it's
a lapse, dude. Like, we can't put together a full game, and it's been that way for a while. And sports take a lot of focus. Like, and in soccer, it kills you. Like, in basketball, dude, you miss a play, guess what? You got to turn around and go play defense, and then you'll get the ball back here in a bit. Like, you got to get rid of it. But with soccer, you miss a play, and it could be the end of your game. You lose points. You could lose the playoffs, anything. And there's no room for error, especially like this, dude. This is stuff they practice. And what's really getting to me is, like, seeing Peter Vermees be positive about stuff right now and just, like, finding the good in all this, which is, like, not something we're used to seeing.
Right. So the last thing I'll say about the game is Sporting did actually have a chance to steal a point back in almost the very last play of the game. It was actually Jansen Miller, who, how would that have been for a debut? The center back, he came on at half because Danny Rosero was on a yellow. It was a soft yellow. He got in the 20th minute, but Rosero on a yellow for 70 minutes is not something that's good. The ref was a little card happy, I think, in this game. But Miller was inches away from tapping in the equalizer, and he just took out DC's goalkeeper. Like, it was pretty bad.
That was insane. And to see that from him, though, I'm like, bro, you're one of us. Welcome to the team. Like, you just put your body on the line in exchange for murdering another player. Like,
yeah,
that was crazy.
I
hope he's okay. I mean, it seems like he's fine.
I think he's fine. My key takeaways from this game, I have a few of them. One, stop, for the love of God, playing it out of the back. Stop trying. We keep trying to play it out of the back, and we do not have the defensive players with the ball control. We don't have a Matt Beasler anymore. We don't have an Ike Opara who can do this well. We just simply don't have the on-the-ball skill in the back line, especially with the center backs, to be able to play it out of the back. Danny Rosero, multiple times, either gives the ball away or nearly gives the ball away. And Pulskamp keeps looking to play it out of the back. He just has to boot it. He booted it once, I think, that I remember in this game. That's a coaching thing. You got to be able to look and say, I don't have the back line to be able to do this. We have to change something. That's one of my takeaways. Another one of my takeaways is the offense clearly has some quality. We've seen some passing sequences, but when you have 2 new designated players and a new TAM winger, and you have 1 run of play goal through 5 competitive matches this year, that's not good enough. It's got to come faster. And then I think my last takeaway is we don't have to wait 10 games into the season this year to know who this team is.
I haven't been told. I'm going to do if Peter tells me to, then I will,
That's sort of been the trope throughout the years is, after 10 games, you kind of really know a lot about your team. And again, I'm not sitting here and saying it's impossible for this team to flip a switch and turn something around or make it like we'd all love if we're sitting here at the end of the year and somehow they've gotten better and made the playoffs. But, to quote one of our former presidents, fool me once, shame on you. You fool me once, you can't fool me again. George Bush.
Yes.
But there's nothing that I'm seeing from this team, at least on the defensive end, that makes me have any sort of confidence that the same problems that have plagued this team each of the last 2 seasons are going away.
I know.
They can't stop set pieces. The back line gives up silly mental goals. We keep saying, those should be the easiest things to fix because it's not a skill issue, it's a mental issue, but they're not getting fixed. And this is the 3rd year now. So take that for what you will.
We're in trouble. We're going to get more desperate. Fans are going to get more mad. Players are going to get more stressed. Like the slower it is to turn the corner, like the harder it's going to be to turn the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting scary, man. Is this the time to bring in our segment with the chip shot with Chip, the keeper of stats?
Give it to me.
All right, hit the theme music. Dun, 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 dun. Chipper. Chip says, as of when I'm writing this on Sunday morning, SKC is one of 3 teams which is still on the hunt for its first points of the season. Did the Galaxy win or tie?
The Galaxy lost.
Okay, did Montreal win or tie?
Montreal lost.
Oh, there you go. So LA Galaxy and Montreal are also still looking for their first points, but LA played against St. Louis, and so they might have sneaked one out by the time of recording. They did not.
No.
Well, for today, we're going all the way back to the last time that the Kansas City professional soccer team had lost its first 3 matches of the season. Believe by Cher was the top song, and The Matrix was the top grossing movie in theaters. That's right, April 1999.
Oof.
More than a quarter of a century ago. SKC is still trying to find their footing for what kind of attacking team they're going to be this year. I know that I was really excited for Joveljic to join the team, thinking we'd have something new and a new ingredient for our hopeful success. Joveljic played for all 90 minutes, but only had 27 touches, which is only 0.3 per minute. This is compared to 0.46 for Shoppy and 0.62 for Tommy. It all feels low, but I went back and looked through Joveljic's stats last season where he had 21 goals in MLS play and an average of 0.3 touches per minute. So maybe that's just his shtick. Few touches per shots on target. The only times I really felt like the attack was alive was after Agata came in and he started making cutting runs toward the goal. In these times, it felt like he was in the right position and made himself threatening. We're getting the ball into the space, but Willie is not making that connection to get it on frame. I will say, though, that in the 14 minutes he was on the field, he had 2 shots taken, which is tied for the most of anyone on the team for the entire game, including Tommy and Shoppy, who had a combined 163 minutes. Hunger is better than nothing, and I want to see more of it. At least Jake didn't get his 3rd yellow in a row. Next week, we have Minnesota at home, which has netted wins against San Jose and Montreal this season with a loss against LAFC. My concern is that we still haven't seen a shift in the plan from week to week. The offense has taken the approach of bad luck. We'll try again next week when the attacking line is so flat that it resembles Western Kansas. A Reddit user named Dawson33944 pointed out that SKC is now one of 5 teams in MLS history which has lost 10 competitive matches in a row. Cincy has the record with 14 losses in a row dating back to 2021-2022 seasons. I'd like to see some kind of changes in the game plan and to mix things up. Even if we go out there and fall flat, at least we're showing we're recognizing that what we're doing now isn't working. If this keeps up, it'll be the discussion of Vermees has lost the locker room, and we find ourselves in a similar situation to last year where the players look as miserable as the fan base.
Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Chip says some good things, man. I love reading that shit too. It makes me feel good. And I don't read it ahead of time, so I never know what's coming. It makes me excited.
One of the things, because I noticed as well watching the game that Jovic didn't seem as involved as I wanted him to, and that may be partially that's his game, but also in the midfield, I like Zoran, but it feels like there is a big gap in the midfield right now. Manu, obviously, heads and tails, the best midfielders that we have. I mean, he's clearly got quality. There's a reason he's the designated player. Zoran, I don't think is a starting midfielder on a championship caliber MLS team. And Radia, man, he's a nice guy, but his style of play, I don't think suits this team or what it needs. I had mentioned watching this game, and you tell me if you see it differently, but when Radia gets the ball, so often he gets the ball with his back to the attack, and his first choice is either look horizontally or back to the back line again. Like he's constantly moving the ball horizontally or backward. He's not a progressive passer that advances the ball into the attack. If you think back to when Sporting had some of their better attacking moments, particularly when Uri Rosell was here the first time around, or Ilie Sanchez, that holding midfielder would get the ball, and the first thing they would do is they would look upfield and say, who can I spring in the attack? Who can I send? Where can I find space to get this ball moving quickly into the attacking third? Radia never really does that. He gets the ball and then moves it sideways. And I think that slows things down so much and is almost like, it sort of like muddies the attack up, that I think that almost forces Jovic to fall deeper into the midfield, similar to almost what Polito was doing, because there's really nobody there other than Manu. So he's having to drop so deep into the midfield to help Manu out in the attack that's leaving this wide open space up in the box. So I don't know, man. I'm not trying to throw it all on Radia, but I think that's why we need someone like Jake in that midfield who can be a little bit more attacking minded and progressive passing minded while still being able to have that defensive mindset. So
yeah, man, I agree.
10 straight losses in all competitions. It's insane. That's unacceptable.
It's not going to get much easier like this weekend. I mean, Minnesota's a decent squad, man. I don't know. My optimism is just the best thing about this weekend is Casey Current's season opener.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think Mike Kuhn from Casey Soccer Journal, he put out an interesting post because I know people are going to be calling for Peter's job again. And he said there's a distinction.
Again, have they stopped?
True. He goes, there's a distinction tonight. Should Peter Vermees be on the hot seat? Mike says yes. Will Peter Vermees be on the hot seat? Mike says, I doubt it. And that's
absolutely not.
That's the thing that I think is going to be so hard for Sporting KC fans to reconcile. And we've talked about this. We don't need to beat a dead horse, for lack of a better phrase, but ownership has basically signaled that Vermees is going to have the rebuild. Now, I keep saying that there does have to be a breaking point at some point. I don't think we're close to it for ownership, but for fans, 10 straight competitive losses is for a lot of people beyond that breaking point. There will come a point where too much is too much. I can't sit here and say I know what that is for ownership. I do think it's very frustrating for fans to continuously hear, even if there's elements of truth to it, essentially the same answer almost every post game after a loss where we're actually playing pretty well. We have some things to clean up, but there's really positive things. It sort of reminds me of like that meme of like the person holding up something out of the water as they're drowning. It's like you can keep holding that up, but if the results don't come, the reality of the situation is you're going to lose fans. You're going to lose interest. You're going to lose money. And people are going to move, if they haven't already, from frustration to anger to apathy. And when they get to apathy, that's where it's real hard to get them back.
That's where
you can get them back if they're frustrated. You can get them back if they're angry. If they just don't care anymore, good luck.
I want to point out something. We had a big email from our guy Alex Brown. Been an OG listener, man. Alex, appreciate you. Not going to read the whole thing here. Pretty long stuff, but I did read the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I can't say I'm not unpleased here. Like I appreciate reading all this. And one of the biggest things that I took away from it was towards the very end. You need to lower your expectations when watching this team. You want to stay on that Fire PV bandwagon? That's fine, but that's dumb because they're never going to do it. So watch SKC with lowered expectations. There is no quick fix to this. It's been stated many times that it is a rebuilding year. And if you don't want to be a part of it, no one's forcing you to open your eyeballs and watch it. You know, we're going to because we are psychopaths. But
I mean, I've seen a lot of people say this is a wooden spoon level team.
Yeah, that's what Alex said as well.
Yeah, I didn't think going into the season that it was at that level. But unless the offense can start finishing things at a higher clip and building on those positive things we're seeing, and unless the defense can fix something they haven't been able to fix for the last 3 years, I had hoped that they would this year, but it doesn't so far. It's not looking great.
Alex also said play the kids, and I'm like I'm not upset with that. You know what I mean? Like I love seeing a guy like Jacob Bartlett get in there as much as he has.
We actually, I will to give credit where credit's due. This team did get a lot younger year over year. Like the average age of this team is significantly younger than it was last year. So we'll see, you know, what happens. But I don't know, man. It's interesting. I hope the last thing I'll say before we kick it over to our interview with Jacob Bartlett is just about Shoppy. He's very clearly a left-footed player. I hope he can train and work on using his right foot a little bit more, because if he is so reluctant to use his right foot, as it was evident in this game that he is, it's going to be very difficult for him to find too much success, because people are going to know all I have to do is stop him on his left foot, and that'll be that. So,
yeah.
But anyway, let's take a quick break, and then we will kick it over to our interview with Jacob Bartlett.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. As promised, we have a very special guest today. You might know him as a Sporting Kansas City midfielder. We know him as the most handsome addition to the team. Jacob Bartlett's here, man. Jacob, how are you, bud?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Dude, we're so great. It's been really fun to see you get the minutes you've been getting this year. And when we were talking about the next player we have to have on here, like, your name was top of the list. So really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's a pleasure.
Man, let's just jump right into it. How's everything going? Like, it's probably been a bit of a fever dream, right? Playing all these minutes you've been getting. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been great. It's definitely an adjustment for sure, but the staff and the players have been great, helping me adapt to the new environment. And it's been a dream come true so far. So obviously it's a tough start for us in the season, but there's no doubt in my mind that I'll turn it around.
Man, that's what I keep hearing. I mean, Peter's saying it, you're saying it, all the guys are like, it's going to be fine. Like, we have the mentality, it's all going to be good. A lot of time when new players get out on the field, like, there's kind of an adjustment period.
Yeah.
And it just seems like you fit. Like, you've been there, you've been in the facility for a bit, you've been with the club for a bit. Do you feel as comfortable as you look?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I do feel good. I think, like I said earlier, they're helping me adjust to the speed of the game and what it takes to play in the MLS. So I think I'm trying day by day to kind of adapt to the new style, but it's been great. It's been good.
So you've been, obviously, with the academy. You had some time with Sporting Kansas City too and such. How do you think being so familiar, obviously it's different joining the senior team, but how do you think sort of growing up through the SKC system has helped prepare you for this year in this moment where you're joining the senior team?
Yeah, I think from I would say the early stages of the academy, even if you're U12, they instill kind of a certain standard that they expect to be upheld, even if you're the youngest kid in the academy to the oldest kid, as well as the second team. And I think them instilling those values in me so early, and then carrying it on through the age groups I think that's definitely been a backbone I can lean on, for sure. As well as just, I don't know, I would say there's just so much support throughout the whole system, from the academy coaches, the second team. Everyone wants to see you do your best. They want the best outcome for you no matter what. So that always having them to lean on is it's a special feeling.
And I imagine that there is something beneficial to having people like Jake Davis, who also come up through the academy and then go on to win team MVP last year, who are there and kind of help show you the ropes. How has someone like Jake helped you through this process?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how long he's been on first team, maybe 5-6 years, something like that. But he's experienced it. He's gone through it, ups and downs of it. So he knows it and he understands what it takes. And so kind of having his support and feedback is very valuable to me.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like the support is very strong within the club as a whole. But your first start came against a club everyone's sick of hearing about. And the GOAT, Leo Messi's coming to town to play in ridiculous weather, and you've got to go up against this guy. What's your nerves like in a situation like that?
Obviously it started kind of in the morning, obviously waking up knowing like this is for real, like I'm about to play the greatest player of all time. But I think my parents and everything they kind of reassured me that I deserve to be here. This is the moment I've been dreaming of, and I just need to go take it. I got to the stadium. I was still definitely the nerves. They went up a notch for sure. But Eric pulled me aside. I remember when we were kind of getting ready to head out for warm-ups, he pulled me aside in the locker room and was like, "Are you nervous?" I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And he definitely calmed me down. He was like, I was in a similar spot for my debut, first game of the season, something like that. And he called me down. He was like, "Deserve to be here. Just go out there, play with confidence, and have fun. This is the best job in the world. Just go do it." So just showing that people care and truly believe in you it definitely helps settle into the game and understand that I can play with these guys. So yeah.
Man, Eric Tommy just seems like that guy. Like there's a reason he has the captain's armband, you know. But Messi's been doing this longer than you've been alive. Like that's crazy to think about, and he's still doing it at a premier level. I think there was at one point. First off, I think you fouled the crap out of Luis Suarez, which, like, hey, we're all for it. That was wonderful. But I think you fouled Messi at one time.
I did.
Helped him back up, and you said something to him. What'd you say to him?
I said sorry. I was like, because I thought I caught him pretty good in the shins. But I mean, it's in the heat of the game. You never want to hurt a player. I was just helping him up, but yeah.
Any thoughts about trying to change jerseys with him if the referees weren't doing that already?
Yeah. But I don't know. I think that one's saved for the older guys. I think they deserve a little more than me. I'll have to wait for my time to come later on. So
sure.
Well, during that game, especially, I think one thing that that caught my eye, especially since it was, I'd seen you play with SKC2 some, but that was certainly, the longest run of minutes that I'd seen you play, especially at that level.
Yeah.
First off, you looked like you were confident out there, and I know you said you were nervous. And you told Eric you're nervous, but you looked like I couldn't tell you were nervous in the field.
Oh, thank you.
But also it looked like there were moments where you're reading the game really well. You're cutting off passing lanes. You're making some plays, and then there's this like fire, like this emotion that you play with. It seems like where you get up and you're hyping up the crowd. And I'm not, this guy's maybe a future sporting legend, but I told someone, I was like, I haven't seen someone display that much emotion in their first few minutes with the team since Johnny Russell in his first game, because he was a fiery guy too. So where does that emotion come from, and how do you think that helps you on the field when you're playing?
To be honest, I don't really know. I think my brother can help you answer that as well. I think it's just the kind of way we're wired, but I think for me, it's a confidence thing. If I'm settling into the game and know I can play, and I guess kind of the adrenaline builds my confidence, I would say. And in the heat of the game, I feel like the emotion takes me away. In a good way, I feel like I don't think it's a bad way. So in those moments, you see the fiery side. I would say that's kind of, I guess, the emotions coming out of me in the game. So,
dude, it's been a rough couple years for the club. So, I mean, any kind of emotion like that to like get the fans back into it
Yeah.
is absolutely needed.
Yeah.
I love seeing it. My wife and I we have season tickets. Jimmy watches from the press box, and we watch from the stand. So two different little perspectives. And when you were getting hyped up, my wife turns to me and she goes, "You got to have Jacob Bartlett on the podcast." And I was like, "Yeah, you are not wrong. I'm doing it."
Yeah. Yeah.
We love to see it, man. You mentioned your brother, though. You didn't get to play against him in DC.
Yeah.
Kind of sad about that. Were you hoping to go against him in that setting?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd love to, but again, it's coach is doing the best for the team, and I obviously respect that fully. We're coming here to win, and he's doing everything he can to do that. So I fully respect his decision. Yeah, but I would have loved to play against him, but hopefully we can see each other again next year or something like that, or in the playoffs. So,
And he's going into his, I believe, 4th season in MLS.
Yeah.
How has he helped you? And also, since he played for St. Louis in 2023, what was it like when SKC won that playoff series?
Yeah, he's been one of the best supporters, I would say. I mean, he's been through the ups and downs. He went to Dallas, didn't play much, and then St. Louis gave him an opportunity and he ran with it. He played first half of the season there, and he played extremely well and earned his contract at DC. So I think kind of also, I would say he's definitely someone I lean pretty heavily on, whether it be. I know there's going to be ups and downs throughout the season, throughout my career. So having kind of him to lean on and reassure me that I'm here for a reason, that things are going to happen. It's life. It's part of your career, but to keep going, keep the head down and keep working. I think he's been great in that aspect. So yeah.
You were born and raised in the Kansas City area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And so, and I believe this is the first homegrown signing who was born and raised in the KC area, maybe since Cam Duke, I think I read. So that was back in 2019. So we're 6 years later. There's obviously a history of players who have grown up here in the area and represented the club. Obviously, Matt Beasler. What does it mean for you that not only have you come up through the academy system, but you're now getting senior minutes and representing your hometown club?
Yeah, it means the world, to be honest. I mean, I came to games from, I don't even know the ages, from when I was a little guy to up until I left for college. So, yeah, I mean, you always dream about playing in the stadium. For it to actually happen is pretty special. It's, I would say, a feeling I can't yet describe, to be honest. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, it's crazy, man. Because like age wise, you're still a little guy. It just doesn't show out on the field. Like I don't know, man. You're really seem like you've been there for a bit, and like that's a testament. And I think the fans are really seeing that and definitely getting behind you there.
Thank you very much.
For sure. Season's gotten off to a bad start. We haven't lost 3 games in a row since it's been a long time. I know we got the stats somewhere, but we're always told not to hang our head. You never know what kind of season you're going to have until April or May. You know, you take some games, a lot of new guys in the system trying to work together. What are the goals for the next few games or even the season as a team, and also individually? Like, what do you want? What are your individual goals?
Yeah, I think for sure it starts this weekend. I think the group has no other mindset other than to get 3 points this weekend for sure. I think obviously this past weekend was tough, but our focus has already switched to Saturday. And then for me, I feel like, to be honest, whatever role I play in the team, whatever to support, kind of help getting the 3 points every weekend. I'm happy to do that, whatever it is. So I'd love to keep playing. That'd be amazing. But like I said, whatever it takes for the team to win.
And so outside of just on the field, you know, you're a professional soccer player now, 19 years old. There's other guys who are on the field who are young guys too. How has life changed for you just outside of soccer? And what is someone, you know, what do you do just for fun? Are you and Jake and some of the other guys, you know, going around and hanging out, or what's, I'm sure this isn't the typical life for a 19-year-old. So what's that been like for you?
It's been definitely an adjustment. It's a lot more free time, obviously coming from college. But I haven't started my college classes yet. I start in the summer with a pretty heavy load, I think. But right now, to be honest, it's hanging out with family, friends, my girlfriend. They've been great. And to be honest, it goes by faster than you think. Your day, you spend about, I would say, 7 or 8 hours in the facility, and you go home, and it kind of the day ends pretty much. But yeah, I think finding stuff to do, whether it be going outside to golf. The weather's getting pretty nice here. So my family, we love to golf. So maybe I'll get into that soon, and as well as just maybe picking up a few new things, like reading a book, something like that. But yeah, I'm still finding stuff to do. So we'll see.
So you're going to continue taking your college classes
Yes.
while you're playing. That's awesome.
Yes.
Is it still going to be through Notre Dame?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Well, I went to USC, so I'm not going to hold.
Okay. There we go.
But
Okay, there we go.
we'll get you next year. So you're going to be balancing college courses while also managing a professional soccer career. That's pretty intense. Have you I guess, have you talked to other players and gotten some advice of maybe how they've been able to manage that? Because you're going to have some pretty great time management to be able to go through that.
Yeah. I think luckily one of my buddies, Cello Jasantret, he's also kind of on the same schedule as me, taking some college classes right now as well. So having a buddy like that going through the same thing will definitely, I can talk to him about it, whether I need help or just kind of like a mental break for sure. But yeah, it's, my parents and I are pretty adamant on me finishing my degree as fast as possible. Yeah, I think kind of just chipping away at it. We'll see. I think, yeah, like I said, having family to support you, balancing the soccer and the school, it'll be tough, but I think it's for sure doable.
For sure.
It's no longer something you do for fun, man. Like, this is your job now.
Yeah.
You're in the workforce, and soccer's your job.
Yeah.
I can imagine that's a weird thing to juggle. But what kind of, you're young, you can probably eat whatever the heck you want and be fine. But do you have a pretty strict nutrition plan at all? What do you like to stick to feel your best on like game day or something?
Yeah, I think we have an unbelievable facility here with amazing chefs and support staff. We have breakfast and lunch every day available for us, so that's been great having for sure 2 amazing meals a day, as well as snacks, protein shakes, anything you need. And then usually I just have dinner with my parents, whether we cook at home or go out to eat or something like that. And then usually game days, my parents and I like to go to maybe like First Watch in the morning or McLean's, to just have a nice meal, maybe watch a team we're playing that night, maybe like a past game from the weekend they played in, just kind of watch tendencies of players and stuff like that, or maybe just like a Premier League game in the morning. We usually just go for the past 2 games. I guess we've gone out to eat some breakfast, and yeah.
So you're still early in your sporting career, but it will come at some point. Everybody gets on, the wrong side of Peter for a brief moment, and they get the Peter wrath. It's happened to me in a press conference. It's happened to all of us in the media where we ask a question and it didn't come off quite right.
Yeah.
We had Seth Stanovic on at one point, and he was like, I used to get it all the time, being an outside back running up and down the sideline.
Yeah.
It's the only one he could reach. Have you had a patented Peter moment yet, even in training, or have you been able to get by and you haven't quite gotten the Peter look where you're like, I know I messed up there, and he saw it?
Yeah, I think most of the time, as a player, if you could have done better in that moment. But I think he's been great, whether it be, no matter the information he gives, I think it's for the best. Like he wants the best for me, wants me to play my best. So I take any information he gives me in a positive mindset and help it improve my game. But he's been great so far. Yeah. If
you score your first goal, are you going to follow in Willie's footsteps and run over and kiss him?
Oh, that I do remember that actually. We'll see. I don't score many goals, so
you got to take your.
To be honest, I don't know how I'd react. It'd be in the heat of the moment. I don't know what I'll do, so we'll see.
Would love that. So the locker room's changed a little bit. New faces, new people. What's your locker room etiquette looking like? Are you got headphones in, or are you just trusting whatever's on the Bluetooth, whoever's playing something? What's that look like?
Yeah. Daniel and the guys, Logan, they're kind of on the aux most of the time. They've been great. They have, I mean, suit the taste for everyone, whether it be Hispanic music, rap, whatever it be, country. They play it all. So yeah, it's been good. I'm not a big headphone guy in the locker room. On game days, I kind of just I'll go with whatever's playing. So yeah, it's been good.
Do you have a preference? Any kind of artist or types of music you're into?
Uh, to be honest, I like pretty much all genres. I like country, a little bit of rap here and there, R&B, anything like that, house music. I don't really have a specific one I like. I kind of just float between all of them. So
This is that part of the show where we're throwing soccer out the window. We're just trying to get to know the Jacob Bartlett here.
yeah.
What about TV shows? You watching anything?
Oh wow, I actually just finished with my girlfriend Paradise on Hulu.
Me too. I told Daniel he's got to watch it.
It's incredible. That was the cliffhanger they left us on was tough, but it was a really good show. And then else I watched Ozark on Netflix. That was a little bit ago, but that was one of my favorites for sure.
Nice. Yeah. I know when we talked to some of the younger guys before, they said they were still playing Fortnite. I don't know if you guys have some like a gamer group that happens amongst the young guys, or you try to loop in some of the old heads in there too.
I'm pretty horrible at all video games, to be honest. I'm just kind of the guy who's on the mic talking, just there for fun. But
Right, man.
but to be honest, I would say Call of Duty is the game I play the most, but
There you go.
I haven't played it recently that much. But yeah, we play with the young guys, and we're starting to play with a couple of the other guys as well. So
Yeah, the older guys might be better at Call of Duty because that was playing it when Dan and I were younger. That was the game.
yeah.
Is there, what would you say is maybe the most surprising thing that you didn't expect in your time here with the senior team so far? I'm sure, you've been with the academy and obviously SKC2 for a while, so you're pretty familiar, but
Yeah.
I'm sure, you come in, you sort of have this expectation of how it's going to go. And I'm sure there are things that are just like, oh, it's a little different than I thought, or oh, that was a little surprising. So, and it may be positive too, but what would you say is one of the most surprising things that sort of caught you off guard as part of this process transitioning into the senior team?
Let's see. I would say, I mean, I knew this kind of going into it, obviously playing soccer your whole life, but how important it is to kind of recovery days are, like going in, taking care of your body. These guys,
Sure.
like I said, the medical staff, strength staff, they do an incredible job helping us recover week to week, especially in that 4-game stretch in 11 days. It was tough on the guy's body, but just seeing how much the guys take care of their bodies and how careful they are with certain things, overtraining, undertraining, stuff like that. It's definitely been something that's caught my eye, and I'm starting to focus on a lot more.
Awesome.
Let's talk about that real quick. I went to the adult fantasy camp a few years back.
Yeah.
Where they put you through everything, man. A training session, recovery session, and then go play on the field. Very cool experience. You're in locker and all that. So that recovery room, if I remember correctly, I mean, it's got everything, dude. The stand-up trio, the hyperbaric chamber, the compression. I mean, it's the whole reason I went out and bought like the Normatec compression.
Yeah.
I was like, I need that in my house.
Yeah.
Do you kind of just do all of it, or is there certain stuff that you really like to hit in that recovery area?
Yeah, I think for me, I love doing the compression boots. I do those pretty much almost every day. There's a little quiet room we have with like a massage chair and like the zero gravity kind of where your feet are up like that. And I usually watch film on my iPad or something like that, or old game, or watch my brother play. I go in there and it's a quiet space and kind of just relax and get my legs up, get some compression on them. So that's one thing I probably do every day. So
it's so important. Like it's the best purchase I've ever made.
Yeah.
Do they still have the glasses that like play the light on there?
Yes, they do. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that being the wildest thing.
Yeah.
So as we get close to winding down here, what this might be a hard question to answer, but what's your long-term goal? I mean, I'm sure every young soccer player has dreams of, maybe one day playing in Europe or whatnot. And
Calling Leo Messi.
fouling Leo Messi and Luis Suarez. But and I know you're probably trying to take it a day at a time right now, but what ultimately do you envision for yourself in your professional soccer career?
Yeah. Like you said, I'm for sure taking it day by day, but I've always dreamed of playing here, and now there's a possibility. I'd love to stay here as long as they want me, for sure. If anything in Europe ever I guess comes into play, that'd be an opportunity I'd have to see in the future, but that'd definitely be a cool experience. So we'll see as it goes, but yeah, I love it here so far, and I'd love to stay here as long as I can.
The good news is that, Sporting, one of the things that Peter Vermees has always said is, obviously it's got to be a right, if there is ever an opportunity, it's got to be a right fit for both the team and the player, but they've shown willingness to make sure that they do right by the player, which is really cool. Yeah. MLS right now, I mean, it's growing at a rapid rate. So it feels like, there are players who have gone over to the Premier League, like Miguel Almiron, and have had time there, and they're still, close in their prime, back half of their prime, and decide, I want to come back to the league. So just what is your impression of Major League Soccer and its development and its growth from a quality standpoint right now?
Yeah, I think you have obviously players of crazy names like Ricky Puig, Messi, obviously huge players like that, Forsberg coming into the league. It's definitely putting everyone else on notice that this league is incredibly competitive, and we have so much talent, especially I think I think I saw Messi say something about the young talent, especially younger generations coming up to the league. He said there's a lot of talent in that aspect, as well as I think just like I said, there's huge names coming over, and I think the World Cup's only going to help the league get more and more exposure. So I think for sure this league is going to continue to grow, and I don't know if I could say we put it on the same level as some of the European leagues, but I think it's trending in that direction for sure.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. It's been really cool to be a fan of the league for the past 10, 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Last thing before we wrap up, any nicknames you have? Anything you want to throw out there? Anything the fans need to be calling you? Anything like that?
For the most part, the guys just call me Bart, Bartlett on the team.
Sure.
I don't know. I think Decky's called me Barty a couple times other than that, but I don't think much more than that. So
yeah. The title of this episode is not going to be the Barty Party. I mean, we're all in. I love that.
That's awesome.
It's absolutely cool. Awesome. Jacob, thanks for being here, man. This was awesome. Really, really happy to see your career taking off so early like this, and hope to see a lot more of you on the field.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. It's been great.
Awesome. Well, good luck this season. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
That man, I sorry to compliment his handsomeness right off the bat. I do apologize. It's what I do, my friend. I want people to feel good about themselves,
Yeah. Look, I don't know if he's done a podcast interview before or not. It's very possible that might have been his first one. He's done one. I've missed it. He's a confident, savvy young guy. I almost said kid, but I'm not going to be that old man who's like, look at these kids.
You can say that, dude. He's 19. I mean, come on. It's crazy.
But a couple things I took from him that I thought were really interesting is, one, it's crazy / admirable that he's going to be actively going through college courses while also playing professional soccer.
It is. Yeah. I mean, that's
a lot.
Just something he has to focus on. I mean, while everyone else can go do things with their families and friends, it's like, well, I got school,
Yeah. And look, as much as I joked about Notre Dame, because Notre Dame, USC, huge historic rivals, Notre Dame academically is a very good school. So it's not like he's just, going to a party school where, easy A's all the time. Like, so, hey, more power to him.
You got to be Catholic to go to Notre Dame?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, but it is a Catholic school.
Catholic university, but they're not going to reject you if you're not Catholic. I think there's a lot of Catholic activities that occur at the school. They got Touchdown Jesus that overlooks their stadium. So
I'm sorry, what's that?
You've not seen Touchdown Jesus? There's a building that has a big art piece mural of some sort of Jesus, and he's kind of holding holding his hands up. I'm trying to get in the shot here. He's kind of holding his hands up out like this. But when you're in the stadium, it sort of is overlooking an end zone, and it looks like Jesus is holding a touchdown.
Oh, really?
You can see it from in the stadium, so people call it touchdown Jesus.
Interesting.
So it's probably not sacrilegious at all. But Notre Dame, good school, as much as I dislike them from an athletic perspective. So that's interesting. But two, I thought it was admirable and speaks highly of Eric Tommy as a captain, that not only did he notice, hey, I need to go help settle the nerves of this young player before this game, but that Jacob felt confident enough in his trust and relationship with Eric Tommy that when Eric asked him, hey, are you nervous? That he felt comfortable enough saying, you know what? Yeah, I am. Instead of kind of do the whole like machismo thing, like, no, I got it. He's like, yes, I am nervous.
Things are different now. If no one has machismo anymore, like that's not a thing. These kids, these damn kids, are not scared to talk about their feelings, and it's so freaking positive and like a thing that I didn't grow up around. So it's just it's so weird to see.
But I think that speaks very highly of Jacob, sort of with his like emotional maturity and just being like, yes, I am nervous, but that also doesn't mean being nervous doesn't also mean that you're not confident in your abilities. It just means
he's got to be nervous that I'm going to freeze to death because that was a very cold night.
And I think it speaks highly of Eric Tommy to hear that and then be able to know how to react and say, you were supposed to be here. You have earned this. You're going to be, yes, you're lining up against Lionel Messi, but there's a reason that you're here. And whatever Eric said, I think worked because Jacob played a hell of a game that night. So it was pretty cool. But I don't know, man. It just, he's a really well-spoken kid, and I think it'll be really fascinating to continue to watch his trajectory with this club.
Yeah, I hope he gets more minutes, man. Like we mentioned, he kind of had a little breather against DC. It kind of sucks. He didn't get to have that little family rivalry on the field. I was kind of looking forward to, but it is what it is. Maybe we'll see him back in the lineup this Saturday. Maybe he got the old no other pod bump.
There you go. It's happened.
It has happened
before. So
he's like, I don't score many goals, and then he'll score a goal this weekend.
He's got to go kiss Peter.
Oh my gosh, there ain't no way.
I don't think he's gonna pull a William Agata and go give a kiss to Peter if he scores. He seemed like he wasn't into that idea.
William Agata this last game. I mean, he stays skying goals. Like it's just either that or he hits the post. I don't know. It's wild.
I was gonna say if DraftKings is out there or whoever and they had odds on Sporting Kansas City hitting the post throughout the regulation 90 minutes, I'm taking those odds because whether it's Shoppy or Agata or whoever, somebody on Sporting Kansas City is going to hit the post.
It's just crazy, dude. I don't know what to look forward to this weekend against Minnesota. I expect to see the lineup, some of the same changes, but I'll be out there, man. It's a double game day for us, so.
It is. It's going to be a tough game. Minnesota's a solid team. They're fourth place in the Western Conference right now. They've won 2 games. They've lost 1 game. They just won on the road at San Jose, and obviously we struggled with San Jose. Minnesota's got some young dynamic attackers. This is going to be another tough one. And you can call it
we saw them in the preseason.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of their starters in a little preseason game. So
yeah.
And it was against our second team kind of for a majority of that.
What's interesting is all 3 of Minnesota's games so far this season have all ended 1-0. They lost 1-0 to LAFC in their first game, then they beat Montreal 1-0, and then they beat San Jose 1-0. So
well, they're getting results, man. I hope we can turn the corner here. We got to get something.
Got to do something. Got to bring some energy, some excitement. A draw at home, it's not going to be good enough. A loss, people might go nuclear if there's a 4th straight loss in MLS. That I don't even want to think about it. So,
oh my god, dude!
What will be important for Sporting to do is not press too hard early. Like they're going to want to get a goal early, but don't press so hard that you end up making a mistake and then Minnesota clips one off the counter and then you're just back in the exact same situation again.
Yeah.
So, but
it's like damn near 80 degrees today. And it's going to get chilly again this weekend. I hate everything.
Yeah, it will be cold again. But before we sign off here, was there anything else that you took away from this week in MLS? I mean, I guess for
I guess
me,
Seattle's good again.
that's what I was going to say.
Is it?
Holy shit. The Seattle Sounders might be a problem.
And they were pushing for more goals at the end. I was like, hold on, you've already got 4. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, they got the Club World Cup, they got CONCACAF Champions Cup, they got all. I mean, that's if there's going to be something that takes down the Seattle Sounders, it's going to be all of these competitions that they're in. It's not going to be another team in MLS.
Right.
So-
They're good, man. I had that game on the TV the other day. I was like, what is happening here?
They're going to be a problem. The Galaxy have a big problem. They are not the MLS Cup champion team of last year.
No. The mighty fall, man. This league is like that, though.
Yeah, and then the only other thing, I guess, that I was like, well, I'm not really sure what's going on here, but San Diego. I didn't expect anything from San Diego this year, and somehow there they are getting a 3-1 road win against Real Salt Lake, and they're making it known that they're not going to lay down and just be wooden spoon contenders. I picked them to be a wooden
stay away.
spoon.
That's hard.
They're currently second place in the West with 7 points. They're kind of following that St. Louis expansion model where if you load up on points on the front end of the season, then it doesn't really matter. If you fall off on the back end, you'll sneak into the playoffs. So
I wonder what that's like. That sounds kind of nice.
it's the opposite of the Sporting strategy where you drop all your points early and then hope that you can, claw your way to enough to sneak in. But
It's not any fun.
yeah, but like you said, currently 3 teams that are pointless in MLS. It's Sporting Kansas City, it's the Montreal Impact, and it's the Los Angeles Galaxy. I guess if you want a silver lining, we're the least bad of those 3 teams, potentially. We only have a -3 goal differential. Montreal has -4, and the Galaxy has -6. So
Great. Here's 3 foods, and they're all shitty, but this one tastes least shitty. Great.
So anyway, that's about all we got this week. You got anything else for our good listeners?
That's it, man. We'll see you out at the park on Saturday.
Thank you all so much for listening. Again, thank you to Jacob Bartlett. Fantastic interview. Appreciate it. If you guys want us to have other players on or other people around the club or whoever, let us know who you want to hear next, and we'll do our best to get them on. But make sure you follow us on socials at NoTherPod, at Dan Kooser, at JCMac03. Leave us that 5-star rating and review. Shoot us an email like Alex, NoTherPod@gmail.com. Thank you again for that very in-depth email. And check us out on YouTube, KCSN Soccer, or via the Kansas City Sports Network app. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.
It's a party, y'all.